Hey everybody, Judah Hoover here, coming to you from the Landlords and Investors Mastermind Group, LIMG for short. And I'm walking some properties in the rain. Somebody asked me to come out here and walk some properties for them, tell them what they thought. And you know, these are mostly tenant-occupied properties, but I did just kind of want to give you guys a feel for what some things that some wholesalers can do sometimes. You know, this right here, if this was the picture of this property, you wouldn't necessarily know or see what's going on, or that there's a boarded up house right beside it. Or across the street, that there's some board up activity going on. And you really got to watch that in some of these D-quality neighborhoods, because really what you're buying is just the cash flow. There's going to be no appreciation on the property. You're not going to see any principal reduction because the banks probably aren't going to finance you. I'm not saying it's good or it's bad investment strategy. I know people who have made money in these types of situations and lost money in these types of situations. It's just really important to get a feel for and understand what it is that you're looking at and what it is that you're doing. Here, I mean, as an investor, I just love seeing this cool stuff here on the corners. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that it was all boarded up and stay away and all that kind of stuff, it would be really cool to kind of do something with these properties. But don't fool yourself and don't think that you're not buying in D-quality neighborhoods when you really are. You're going to have higher than average turnover costs. You're going to have higher than average turnovers. So not only are you going to turn over the properties more, but you're also, every time you do turn them over, you're going to turn them over at a greater expense. The other thing that you have to remember is the tenants themselves are going to be causing more damage. Oh boy, it feels great to get out of the rain. And that's an important thing to remember, because the tenants are going to not be as interested in fixing stuff themselves. They're going to not stay as long. They're going to have a higher percentage of secret spy pets, you know, those pets that are in the property that they didn't ask if they could move them in or not. So there's a lot of really great things about D-quality neighborhoods. You're going to have a higher than average turnover. There's always people who are looking to sell them. You're going to have a higher than average rental. You know, the cash flow percentage, what you buy them for versus what they're actually going to rent for, you're going to say, wow, this thing is going to cash flow at above, you know, that 1% rule. You might even be looking at 1.5 to 2% rules when it comes to the properties in these neighborhoods. But just to understand, there's a reason why that is, and it's important to understand. And always look at the block, see how many board ups there are on the block that you're looking to buy in. I've owned properties in D-quality neighborhoods. I've done okay in D-quality neighborhoods, but I always try to make sure that there's not a whole lot of other board ups on the block. Like I said, I know people who have made money in D-quality neighborhoods. I know people who have lost money in D-quality neighborhoods, and there's good and bads of it. I'm not going to say whether it's the right or wrong investment strategy, because it could be right for you or it could be wrong for you. That's up to you to decide, but it's important to know what it is that you're getting yourself into when you buy in D-quality neighborhoods. All right, guys, so we're going up to our third house here that we've walked. I didn't get you in on the inside just because of tenants weren't too cooperative, but here on this third and final one, I'm going to try and get you on the inside of the property, show you what a halfway decent, not in need of rehab house is going to look like, and go from there. Not a bad block that we're standing on, and looking pretty good, other than the fact that it is just raining buckets out here. But this is what we do, is we walk properties when nobody else does. So how long have you lived here, Miss Anderson? How long have you lived here?
69 years, really. I always said 67, but
69.
Well, you have taken absolutely great care of the place, I got to tell you. I get into a lot of properties in this neighborhood, and they don't look nearly as nice as this one does. Yeah, where is... Oh, right over here? Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So we'd probably do something different here with the wallpaper. And that is about it. I mean, I would probably do something different with this flooring. TVP or something like that. I would clean up that over there. Other than that, I mean, just really straight up paint and carpet. Let's go into the basement, where usually, obviously, so here in the kitchen, I mean, before we move on, let's just talk here real quick. So the other thing you could do here in the kitchen is obviously you'd want to put a new stove in. Depending on what you're going to do in a neighborhood like this, where you have the metal cabinets and the metal sink basin like that, super straight out of the 1950s, but where it's not an awful paint job or something, you might want to consider keeping that, or you might want to put in new counters. This is highly unusual that there is the hot water heater right here in the kitchen. I've walked hundreds and hundreds of properties. I can honestly say I've probably never seen that before. And again, we've talked about this before. This is a gas hot water heater. You can see the gas line coming right there, and the ventilation right out the top. When we're in the basement, we're going to see if there's a way that we can put that in the basement. There's an unnecessary cut there in the video because I turned the flashlight on, which I obviously did not need to do. Okay, so little half bath. That's probably why the hot water heater is not down here. This is a relatively clean, relatively dry, relatively okay smelling basement. Whenever I walk these houses, one of the first things I like to do is get down here and look at the basement. Do I see any sistered joints? Do I see any... Now here we have some of these additional support columns like we talked about. We've looked at those in a previous video, talked about them in a previous video. They're kind of right down the center beam of the house here, and they don't really scare me that much. I don't see a lot of sagging or deflection. You can always come and take a look just like this to see that that is still pretty darn straight. Makes me feel really good. We've got a newer gas forced air system there, and that's the condensation line that runs there, because whenever you combust anything, water vapor is a byproduct and you need to do something with it. At the front of the house here we have the gas meter and the water meter, but this looks like a great basement. This is what I'm looking for in these old houses like this. Yeah, I mean, if you don't know what you're looking at, it might seem a little scary, but there is really nothing here that scares me. This right here, if I moved these rocks, I could get into a crawl space there, which is how we would access the water lines running back to that kitchen that we were just in, which is also why the hot water heater is in the kitchen. Definitely funky, but that's how it goes. Let's go take a look at the rest of the house. Let's go take a quick look upstairs. Again, wallpaper, and actually some wallpapering over paneling. So interesting. Man, she just has this place kept immaculate. Super, super nice. Not a whole lot of deflection in any of these floors or anything like that. The plan here is that this is a homeowner. This is an owner-occupied property. It's why it's as nice as it is. She is going to be selling it, and then once she buys, there's our friendly wholesaler. Once she buys, we are going to rehab it and then turn it into a rental. And there is, I mean, it is what it is. It's always going to be a C or a B quality house in a D quality neighborhood, but there is nothing up here that scares me. So we have one bedroom back here, a privacy violation bedroom here, this pink room, and then that front room that we were in. So for appraisal purposes and a bunch of other things like that, this would only ever be a 3-bedroom house. Most people would, or excuse me, would only ever be a 2-bedroom house. Most people would use this as a 3-bedroom house. This is just old plaster that's been patched a time or two. You can always come alongside it and see what you're looking at. But there is nothing here that really has me worried at all. I like it. So that's what the house looks like outside. Nice house. It's got some, it was sided at one point. Not a bad block. Now this is what I was talking about. This block, even though it has some rougher houses on it, there's not a board up on the block. And that's what I'm looking at. Also, this is barely a one-lane street, which means there's not a whole lot of through traffic or anything. If I was going to do a deal in a D quality neighborhood, I don't know when these were built. These were obviously put in here sometime in the 70s or 80s. The rest of the housing stock in this neighborhood is going to date to the 30s and 40s. If I was going to do a house in a D quality neighborhood, this is exactly what I would be looking for. Woo! All right, I absolutely love it. I got like the 1950s slicked hair. It is such a rainy and wet day. Back here in the car, just to kind of sign off and tell you, listen, share this video with other people. I hope you found value here. That's my goal. These properties are already spoken for. This is not me trying to sell these properties or anything like that. I am not the wholesaler. Somebody asked me to walk these properties for them as a friend, tell them what they think. So I'm obviously going to be sending this video to them with a couple other notes. Tell me in the comments if you completely disagree and you think that D quality neighborhoods are the best thing ever, or you think D quality neighborhoods are the worst. Absolutely destroy that like and subscribe button, please, and check back here often and share these with your friends, because what I'm trying to do is deliver content that nobody else is doing. Everybody will teach you how to finance deals, how to find deals, how to buy deals, and all that kind of stuff. I think walking properties and really evaluating them quickly in under 10 minutes is a lost skill. It's something that needs to be taught and needs to show people how to do, and that's what we try to do here at the Landlords and Investors Mastermind Group. And share this on Facebook and tell me what you think. Thanks. Bye.